Special attendees at San Diego Comic-Con were treated to some incredible first looks at upcoming projects in the MCU, including Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3. The highly anticipated film is set to hit theaters on May 5, 2023, exactly 6 years since its predecessor. Given the response to the footage and the emotion from the cast on stage at Comic-Con, fans should expect a more consequential film than the previous installments. Importantly, it will showcase the new relationship between Gamora and the Guardians, as the deadliest woman in the galaxy finds herself in the future, having been brought from 2014 in Avengers: Endgame. This can help round out her characterization with a fresh perspective and add to this list of character-defining quotes. "I am going to die surrounded by the biggest idiots in the galaxy." Guardians of the Galaxy. This is definitely one of Gamora's most quoted lines from all 4 films she's been in thus far. It's not only a perfect signifier for who Gamora is, but even more so for the company she is forced to keep. Years of training and torture at Thanos' hand have made her far more than a deadly warrior, but also turned her into a very logical and strategic person. However, the people she surrounds herself with are utterly baffling to her. Interestingly, the Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 is time displaced and will find herself once again surrounded by a new group of idiots as she is supposedly leading the Ravagers according to what was shown at Comic-Con. "I will be grateful to die among my friends, Guardians of the Galaxy." Of course, her sentiments regarding the biggest idiots in the galaxy transform throughout Guardians of the Galaxy to the point that she is able to help Star-Lord control the Power Stone with them. The Guardians have become a family of their own, something Gamora hadn't experienced since Thanos arrived on her home planet. This quote highlights several important characteristics of Gamora. She is incredibly brave and willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to stop Ronan from using the Power Stone. She was at peace with her likely death as they headed to thwart his attack on Xander. "Touch me, and the only thing you're gonna feel is a broken jaw." Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. Due to her traumatic upbringing, it is quite difficult to crack open Gamora's shell to really get to know her. Her friends were eventually able to whittle her down for her to open up a bit, but Mantis wasn't so lucky. Her empathic abilities would have been a cheat code, skipping over the necessary work and building a relationship with Gamora, and Gamora of course wasn't going to have any of it. This moment showcases her strength, and it is also an indicator of how naturally distrusting Gamora is. She wasn't going to give Mantis access to her secrets and emotion, especially not after they just met. That's a helpful quality, and something that will likely be applied to whoever joins the MCU in the upcoming holiday special. "I'm a warrior and an assassin. I do not dance." Guardians of the Galaxy. Drax is best known for not getting metaphors or figurative language, but Gamora has been guilty of it too, such as during this sequence on Nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord is clearly trying to seduce her with his music and, as she describes it, his pelvic sorcery. She hilariously doesn't get the sticks up their butts and thinks he's being literal. Gamora has seen the world one way for most of her life. She is on a mission, and that's all she focuses on, so she doesn't relate to Star-Lord, who can be nonchalant and dance. However, he is able to break down her walls and even becomes a dancer, which helps develop their relationship into a romantic one. Shoot her if she does anything suspicious, or if you feel like it. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. Gamora's story in the MCU is intrinsically linked with that of her sister, Nebula. For the longest time, they were never really family, just victims placed into the same situation by their father, Thanos. Unlike Nebula, though, Gamora isn't hellbent on killing her adoptive sister, though as proven here, she wouldn't be opposed to it to make her life easier. This comes after the Guardians pick up Nebula from the Sovereign, and they decide to split up with Gamora, leaving her with Rocket and Baby Groot, while she goes with Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis, and Ego. This line is important as it shows how she viewed Nebula throughout most of her life, as an inconvenience. That definitely changes over the course of this film, though. There are many other girls out there, like us. You can stay with us and help them. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 Gamora and Nebula are forced into reconciliation upon discovering the true horror that lies hidden on Ego's planet, and thus the ensuing fight. While there are definitely years to unpack all their collective and individual trauma, this line showcases how incredibly they've transformed over the course of a single film. They go from trying to kill each other to Gamora really wanting to have Nebula as a sister. Without this catharsis, Gamora probably wouldn't have intervened and stopped Thanos from killing Nebula in order to protect the secret location of the Soul Stone in Avengers: Infinity War. This was the moment when they really became family, and while their executions were different, they shared the same mission: to beat their father. Whatever nightmares the future holds are dreams compared to what's behind me. Guardians of the Galaxy Gamora is a survivor through and through. The years she suffered under Thanos' tutelage hardened her, yet she was never broken. Her will and sense of justice remained intact. Nevertheless, there's no better word to describe that time in her life than as torture: emotional, physical, and psychological, so it's lucky she didn't end up like Nebula. Due to that, Gamora has a completely unique perspective and viewpoint. To her, nothing will ever be as dangerous as having the Mad Titan as her father. Thus, she was unafraid when confronted with the dangers of Drax and the other sadistic kiln prisoners. I am not your daughter. Everything I hate about myself, you taught me. Avengers: Infinity War. While Gamora's backstory is tragic in the MCU, in the comics is even more extreme, as she is the sole survivor of her people after they were attacked by the Badoon, not Thanos. It is seemingly implied in the MCU that her planet and people are thriving a generation after Thanos wiped out half the population, though the Nova Corps still claim that Gamora is the last survivor in Guardians of the Galaxy. This quote best exemplifies the trauma that she endured because of Thanos. On top of decimating her people and stealing Gamora away, he made her into his champion. Nevertheless, she is still noble and brave enough to keep fighting against him and his ways, rejecting his supposed gifts. If he ends up being evil, we'll just kill him. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. As a former daughter of Thanos and the deadliest woman in the galaxy, Gamora doesn't shy away from violence. She knows it serves a purpose and can be the solution to some problems, though she is still logical and cautious to prevent it when necessary. She is not cursed with honesty like Drax, but she can be quite frank and cutting. The mentality she showcases here, when talking about how Ego probably can't be trusted, is one of her best qualities. It's surely something she'll need in her upcoming fight in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3. Against High Evolutionary, who was confirmed to be played by Peacemaker's Chukwudi Iwuji at Comic-Con recently. It's a distress signal: Rocket. Someone could be dying. Avengers: Infinity War. Gamora takes her heroics as a Guardian quite seriously, or at least more seriously than her teammates. That's shown when they are headed to an unknown distress signal in Avengers: Infinity War. Her motivation is to help the people who could be in trouble, while Rocket simply wanted to help himself. This isn't something she developed upon working with her fellow Guardians. Though she had initially hoped to pawn off the orb so she could escape from Thanos and Ronan, upon learning its contents, she doesn't hesitate to make it her mission to keep the Power Stone away from them. She's not thinking about the reward or any ulterior motives, which makes her one of the purest heroes in the MCU.